It began, as stories like this often do, not with applause, but with silence. The kind of silence that trails behind someone you've learned to overlook. The soft shuffle of canvas shoes on marble, the faint clink of a mop bucket rolling into shadow. No one turned their head. No one whispered her name. In a hall of world-class talent and curated splendor, Camille Rowan was little more than a smudge on the frame, quiet, unseen, forgotten. The Centennial Gala at Halberton Conservatory was the city's most anticipated affair, where velvet met power and music swirled with influence. Champagne glasses gleamed beneath chandeliers imported from Vienna. Gowns whispered against the floor, designer heels clicking like metronomes of the elite. The program was airless with expectation. Somewhere between the foie gras and the silent auction, a famed soloist was set to grace the stage until fate decided otherwise. A car accident, a broken wrist, a text message that shattered the evening's perfection like a dropped wine glass. Backstage, panic bloomed like wildfire behind smiles. The director, Meredith St. James, barked into her headset, "We need someone. Anyone. The cello piece can't be cut. Donors are expecting it." The assistant trembled. "No one's ready. Not for Shostakovich." That's when the voice came. Quiet, nervous, hopeful. "She can play," said Noah Delaney, a second-year student, pointing to the girl wiping down a bench near the corridor. Denim jacket, hair half-pinned, her face gently lit by a slant of dying afternoon light. Camille froze. Heads turned. Meredith's brow arched so hard, it nearly unzipped her forehead. "Her?" she said, one manicured hand fluttering toward the janitor. "That's your suggestion." The staff laughed. One muttered, "If she can hold a cello like she holds a mop, we're saved." Another, "Perfect. If she bombs, it'll give the critics something to feast on." The laughter rolled out like a carpet. Camille didn't flinch. She'd heard worse in these halls, every day. But that night was different. That night, they didn't just overlook her. They handed her the spotlight, and they expected her to burn. She didn't ask for the spotlight, but it had found her dust and all. As the laughter faded to murmurs, Camille slowly turned her gaze toward the stage. The cello stood there waiting, centered, majestic, alone, a relic of everything she had once been, and everything she'd quietly walked away from. Few knew that before she wore gloves and bleach-stained sleeves, Camille Rowan had worn silk and satin concert gowns. At 15, she had made a young debut at Carnegie Hall. At 17, she'd been offered a full ride to the Bramley Academy in Vienna, home to the best cellists in the world. Her fingers were magic once. Her name whispered in conservatories, like a promise. But dreams are fragile when the world is brutal. Her father, a decorated soldier, returned home, wounded in ways no bandage could reach. Camille, the oldest, watched him fall apart until one spring morning he didn't wake up. Her mother collapsed under grief. Her younger brother cried for food, and the cello sat in silence in a dark room. So she let it go. She scrubbed floors, waited tables, watched life pass by with the resignation of someone who once touched the stars and learned they burn. She hadn't played in public in years, but every note still lived inside her, dormant, coiled, waiting. And now, the same school that paid her $14.50 an hour to wipe fingerprints off doorknobs had just asked her mockingly to perform Shostakovich for New York's elite. She didn't owe them a sound, but something inside her whispered that maybe she should. At Halberton, hierarchy was everything. Students in $1,000 coats sipped espresso from monogrammed thermoses. Professors walked like demigods between rehearsal rooms, and Camille was background noise, a shadow They called her the Rag. Once, a group of students posted a video of her mopping during rehearsal breaks. The caption read, "From Carnegie to custodian." Laughter flooded the comments. One girl flicked water at her shoes and giggled. Oops, missed a spot. She never reacted. Not once. Another time, she tried to help a student struggling with the vibrato technique. "Relax your wrist," she'd said gently. The girl smiled, her tone immediately improving, until a professor stormed in. "What are you doing?" "Do not speak to my students." Camille apologized, but her hands shook all the way to the maintenance closet. Behind every pristine performance room was a hallway where Camille was treated like clutter. And yet, she kept walking. "Fine," Meredith snapped. "Let her try." Gasps turned to smirks. Phones rose like weapons, ready to document the collapse. "You get one shot," Meredith hissed. "Take the stage or find another job." Camille placed her clothes back in the cleaning cart. Her palms were damp, her breath was shallow, but her spine, straight. She didn't say yes. She simply walked forward. The audience parted like she was a disease. She heard them, the whispers, the venom laced in velvet. "Is this real? This is a gala, not a garage sale." "Oh." She's shaking. "This'll be good." She stepped up, lifted the cello's bow, and the room held its breath. The first note was not gentle. It cracked through the air like thunder, fierce, defiant. Shostakovich's Cello Concerto. No, one a piece designed to chew up nerves and spit out the unworthy. It wasn't meant for show. It was war music. And Camille? She was done retreating. Her bow carved through the silence. Her fingers flew. She wasn't just playing music, she was bleeding it. Her grief, her fury, her silence, all of it spilled across the strings. Phones lowered, lips parted. Even Meredith's smugness withered in the front row. Within 30 seconds, the room had forgotten her shoes. Within 1 minute, they forgot her title. By the third minute, they forgot to breathe. The final note hadn't finished, echoing when the rear doors swung open. A tall man stepped in, steel gray hair, midnight suit, eyes that cut through the chaos with ease. He wasn't supposed to be there. But when Julian Avery, the billionaire patron of the arts, walked toward the stage, it was clear why the air had shifted. Camille looked up, and her eyes softened. He whispered, "You okay?" She nodded. "Just once." Julian turned to the crowd, raised a single hand, and spoke with iron clarity. "This is Camille Rowan, my wife." Gasps erupted like firecrackers, and the soul behind every music foundation we've ever funded. Phones were up again this time, trembling. "You laughed at her, dismissed her, humiliated her, and tonight you exposed yourself." He turned to his assistant. "Pull every penny." Now, the screen above the stage flickered. $48 million in annual support revoked. A donor dropped her glass. A professor clutched his chest. Students who posted janitor memes found their influencer deals canceled. Viral videos emerged. One girl's face was shown mocking Camille last week. Her record label dropped her. The same hands that clapped mockingly now shook. Camille didn't stay to watch the collapse. Within months, she founded the Rowan Conservatory, a free music school in Harlem. Students came in from broken homes, trauma, shelters. Camille welcomed them, not with rules, but with rhythm. She taught in a plain sweater and those same canvas shoes. No pretense, no illusions, just music. Her motto? Talent doesn't wear a label. She took special care with a boy who wouldn't speak. Through music, he began to smile. Then Hume. Then play. One day, he tugged her sleeve and whispered, "Miss Camille, do I sound like magic?" She knelt beside him, You sound like a miracle. Her brother, now a music therapist, volunteered on weekends. Together, they turned pain into harmony. One day, after a lesson, a little girl slipped Camille a crayon drawing, a stick figure woman holding a cello. Beneath the words, "Thank you, Miss Camille. You made me believe I'm worth something." Camille hugged her, eyes misting. "You were always worth something," she whispered. "Now you know it." That night at Halberton became a headline, but Camille Rowan became a legend, not for the drama, not for the scandal, but for the quiet defiance that echoed louder than applause. She was the cellist in canvas shoes, and the melody was hers.